All right. So since we were just picking who we thought would be on, the cover of EA's Madden, how about, we can go back just a little bit and talk about something that little man here, Jake, was talking about one of his cons, his Halloween cons.
He is not that little.
And
I'm half a man.
Yeah. Most definitely, and talk about what we think coming up here and very quickly. What do you guys think is going to be like the big Halloween costumes this year?
Well, I've got a little bit of facts for you on that one, Josh.
Ooh, fact me, bro.
Farmer.
Giggity.
Okay, so
Six.
so the top costumes for going back to 2015 through 2019. We start on 2015. The top costume for female in 2015 Halloween was Harley Quinn. The top male would be the Joker. So whenever I was looking and doing my research, I got to 2016, right? And again, the number one costumes were Harley Quinn and Joker, 2 years running, right? But also, since it was an election year, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton were also, they had high numbers.
Did they do like the gigantic rubber mask
Yes,
thing?
yes.
The rubber mask.
Okay.
Well, it was more of like the cardboard cutout type, the exaggerated head. It wasn't the, like the early like 2000s
attorney
head.
brother of mine like wear a wig, like do an orange face sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
just didn't
and it's
know.
just like Donald Trump in general,
Okay.
or Hillary Clinton.
Which always seems to be a trend during election years.
Exactly.
I mean, as far back as I can remember, there's been like
Especially considering it's Halloween, then electric.
Bill Clinton. I remember the Bill Clinton masks back in the
I remember
90s
the
were.
Obama ones during his
yeah.
first run.
Yeah. Yep. So we move on to 2017, and anybody guess what the big costumes would be for the male?
Something with Stranger Things in it.
Ooh, I'm kind of
That's
with
my
you.
guess.
Something.
Whether it's 11 or one of the nerds.
I would say it's definitely 11 for the girls.
Okay.
For guys, there really wasn't much going on in 2017.
So
that's going to be kind of hard.
let me rock your world.
All right.
Okay. So 2017, the main male costume was Pennywise.
Oh, that
I call bullshit.
I'm just telling you.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
yep.
Because the film just came out during that time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess chapter 1.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And so the most bland costume, like not, I don't know how to say this, but it's like the costume,
It's a costume.
It's a basic costume.
The 50s, right?
the Pennywise.
Like clowns in general. Like, how do you differentiate?
Well,
yourself?
no. I mean, Pennywise. It was one character, right? And all the other characters we've had, like Harley Quinn or Hillary Clinton, right? For the females, 2017 for females was a witch, just a witch,
just
any
a
witch.
witch.
Just a witch, which I think is kind of cool because it's like we're doing costumes, not characters.
which
you know what I mean?
thought was cool. I
Yeah.
caught your pun there. That was beautiful.
Yeah, and then so 2018,
Ish is a show, right?
it was Fortnite, male and female.
No
So you were right, Ethan. Shisto.
Exactly.
Honestly, who plays Fortnite anymore?
You know what? If we have any kids listening to this, they are flossing so hard because you made them so mad.
There's so much.
There's so
better
much
things
floss.
And do me a favor.
You're like them.
Floss yourself right to bed.
Why do I always say
Because-
scissoring? I always have to catch myself. Yeah, these kids are out here scissoring because of Fortnite.
I don't know.
That's not something. that
That's
should be
not a
said.
thing. We're going to have to edit that out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just going to just beep
all out
just that
here
whole
scissoring
section
and
right
shit.
there.
Okay, so we're on to 2019, and remember, you guys had thought
swear-
Stranger Things.
I swear, if you say those Chips Ahoy uniforms,
Guess what? 2019.
You know it is.
Male and female were Steve and Robin.
Oh my
Chips
God.
Ahoy costume.
is that
I
Chips Ahoy? It's
knew it.
Chips. Yeah, it's Chips.
What is it? Chips?
Scoops Ahoy.
Scoops
Scoops
Ahoy.
Ahoy. Oh my
Sorry about
gosh.
that.
Scoops.
Chips Ahoy's a cookie.
I can't. You know what? I will believe it. There were so many memes about those outfits and just those two people. I'll believe it.
There still is. Like, I still see memes of her behind the counter
Yep.
with the dry erase
With the dry
board.
erase board.
That's turned into like the change my mind kind of thing. Like, I still see that one come up even now.
So we're moving on to 2020, which has been a shit show for the most part, if we're just being honest, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
we can all
yeah.
agree on that.
A farmer and I discussed this a little bit earlier.
My guess is anything from Mad Max.
Mm.
I-
Apocalyptic.
I think like
I see
all
what you
that
did there.
stuff,
I
like
that.
post-apocalyptic, like stuff being. I mean,
I'm calling Pac-Man.
I
Well, see-
I think that since we've been living through the corona, like the pandemic stuff is not scary anymore. That's just my opinion, and that's another thing we can talk about in like future horror topics.
So
But
yeah.
but Farmer and I were discussing, and Farmer, we kind of agreed that the number one costume for females is going to be what?
It's going to be the Birds of Prey version of Harley Quinn.
Yes.
That's going to be the women's this year because I went into the Spencer's over in the mall because it was open.
The Spencers.
And as soon as you walked in, it is every single possible thing you could possibly have for
Harley
an
Quinn.
outfit for her
Yep.
from that movie, front and center as soon as you walked in. The clear pants with the fringe on the sides, the jacket, the suspenders, the shirt, the whole 9 yards, front and center right there. So Jake and I agreed that is probably going to be the women's.
Yeah.
For me, it's a little
Margot
bit different
Robbie
for the
version.
men's.
Yep.
Because if we're going for dudes, and if we're going off something movie-wise, maybe, if we kind of keep in that theme, it's got to be Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh my God, I freaking love you. That I was literally about to say, if we're doing solo males, I hope to goodness it's Sonic the Falcon
Because
Hedgehog.
we have to admit that as of right now,
Best movie.
that is the best movie of 2020 in the theaters.
Amen.
Oh, fantastic.
it was so
I've
good.
not yet seen it yet.
And,
Oh.
and the reason why I say that is because that was the last big movie to hit theaters before everything closed down. Boom.
That's true.
So let's go ahead and give Sonic the Hedgehog all the Oscars, all the Emmys,
And the
any
Oscar
of the
goes
awards.
to
Let's go ahead and give it to
Sonic the
Sonic
Hedgehog.
now.
Did
Anything
anybody?
before that came out?
Best supporting
No,
actor.
li-
Sonic.
literally,
I know.
there was absolutely nothing that came out in January because everything closed down in March.
Yep.
So Sonic has been the biggest box office movie of the year.
So a week before
man.
the
Oh,
corona
yeah.
shut everything down here, June and I went and saw Onward. Have you guys?
I
have you-
love
have
that
you
movie.
watched?
That
Okay.
was really good,
You know,
too.
I
Yes.
didn't get to catch that one.
It is so good, and we can have a movie night, Matt. We can watch it
Aw.
together, okay?
That sounds like
That's
fun.
cute.
I'm throwing this out here. I would say kids, the like male kids or whatever, the boys section will be filled with Onward, probably Sonic, and Scooby Doo.
Yeah, the new little Shaggy.
The
Yep.
Scoob.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
I can see
from
that.
Scoob.
So
Sorry, Pac-Man.
I think,
Yeah, no, your Pac-Man's out of here. Mm-mm.
well, like when we talk about girls, I think it could also be Scoob as well, like Scoob costumes. Anybody in agreement or?
I don't. Maybe there's probably going to be a few that have decided that. Yeah, I want to be young Scoob, but I think they're probably going to go more of a slutty Velma.
Little. I'm talking little kids here. Not,
Oh,
Yeah,
little
yeah.
kids. All right,
wham.
we got this.
So I think let's do like unisex costume and
We didn't talk about this one.
universal, like gender neutral is gonna be Tiger King.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that
Yeah.
totally happening.
Yeah,
too.
because I've already seen costumes of girls as Tiger King.
And has that become a
Do you
kink?
mean Joe
I
Exotic?
think so. Yeah, I have.
Dressed as him? Joe
Yeah, I've seen females dressed as Joe Exotic. Yep.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
is that gonna be a kink? Are we gonna
Probably.
is this
It's
gonna
already
be-
has been, and we know this.
Yeah. So like dudes are into chicks dressed up as Joe Exotic, or I mean, I've never watched Tiger King.
It can go so many different ways. Like, it's insane. I mean, there's been some people out there dressed as Carol Baskin.
Oh my.
There's
that
been
buff
people
bitch,
dressed.
Carol
There's been
Baskin.
people dressed as Joe Exotic. There's even been people dressed as the two boyfriends
Yep.
and took the trio photo.
What about the
Like-
Tigers?
Yep.
I've not seen any of the Tigers, thank goodness yet, because
What about
that would
lions?
And
no,
bears?
no,
Oh my.
no, not seeing any of that. But if we're going to speak on the animals,
Get
that
your dick.
if Carol Baskin got control
Oh
of
my
Joe Exotic Zoo.
I'm so
That
pissed off.
But what did I tell you about before we came in here and started this, though, Ethan? I had a little bit of a surprise about that show.
You did, but I have short-term memory, so I don't remember. Will you
That is
refresh me?
okay. So, since Tiger King has started and aired, yes, Carol Baskin, she got control of Joe Exotic Zoo.
In Oklahoma, yes.
Guess what else she got?
Uh-oh.
Open investigation into her husband's disappearance.
Amen.
Yep. So,
Because I will be honest with you, there's no sliver of doubt in my mind that she did not chop that man up into little bitty bits and made tiger chow out of him.
So my
and
question
put him in
is,
the disher.
my
Amen.
question is, what motive does she have? Because I've never watched the show.
Money.
Was he
So,
rich? Or?
here,
He was
quick,
low.
like Ethan just said, he was loaded. But here's the thing. They were having marital issues, okay? So, he was threatening to leave and take the zoo that they had together away from her. He would always take these flights out of country. I can't remember what country. Was it Puerto Rico or
I
somewhere?
believe so, yes.
He was always taking these flights out of country. He was getting ready to take one of these flights out. He never showed up. He just disappeared. Gone, never to be heard from again. Amidst of divorce papers being served, him leaving her for somebody else. Was it over in Puerto Rico, I think is where she was?
I think so, yes.
So there's all kinds of motive for her to make him go away because she got all of his money. She got the zoo. His kids that he had before her or with her, whatever they was, didn't get a penny. Didn't get none of it. Because the will that she had doctored up, which has come out as being fake and forged, he left every penny to her.
Under his death or disappearance. And that's exactly what it said on the form. If I should die or if I should disappear, she gets this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
signed by, quote unquote, both of them.
Dun, dun, dun.
So
she killed him dead.
it
Whack
came out that the signature and the documents forged, and they are reopening the case on his disappearance. Yay for him and that family.
Justice will be served.
Boom. And speaking of justice, Matthew, I know you got some stuff back there on this.
Justice will be served.
Virtue and the American way.
Well, basically we had something come out that is kind of a lost treasure of sorts. Basically, there's a programmer by the name of Chris Oberth who was developing a video game tie-in for the Nintendo Entertainment System back in 1990 for the Tom Cruise movie Days of Thunder. Now, one did get released, but it wasn't the one that Chris Oberth worked on. And sadly, he passed away in 2012. So a lot of his possessions and everything like that just kind of has sat in storage, I guess. It's been dormant. No one's touched it. They recovered a collection of old floppy disks and actually had to get a period-appropriate computer to decode everything that was on these disks because it was something different. And they found...
Were they color-coded orange, yellow, blue?
No, I'm sure they were just the old straight black ones that were how they used to do it back in the day.
That's
And
funny.
well, they found this basically a handwritten label that said Nintendo Hot Rod Taxi Final. And they're like, all right, well, don't really remember that game being developed. What it looked like he was trying to do, or at least what's believed, is that he was going to take the game he just made, Days of Thunder. I guess the licensing, there was problems with licensing or something. There's really still a bit of mystery about why this didn't go through and why the other one was adopted. But basically, they were able, through a collection of about 20-something floppy disks, they were able to reconstruct all of the coding and everything like that, and with one final piece, which was a graphic patch, and it turned back into Days of Thunder. And there's footage online of this ROM being played now, and there's even talk of it being released as someone doing it kind of like a limited run thing to where they're going to produce physical cartridges of it. It's kind of cool to think that there's maybe some more games for the original Nintendo Entertainment System that dropped in 1985 that are out there, just waiting to be discovered. Like a programmer started work on something, and Nintendo wouldn't license it, or the company that was backing it just said, well, we're not really interested in that. But I mean, I guess movie tie-ins would be a logical target for that. Someone produced a movie, they're like, oh, we're going to have a video game tie-in, and they got 3/4 through development, and then they said, well, the movie bombed, so we're not going to...
Well, now that you mentioned that, like, it's kind of, they found I think it was the original Nintendo, I wouldn't say... There's almost a complete game of Nightmare. I don't know if, Ethan, we've played the game before.
That's the VHS.
Yeah, it's a VHS. You got to defeat the gatekeeper.
Or they made a video game?
Yeah, so there's a video game out where you're this little boy, you're running through these different haunted areas, like you got to fight the vampire, the mummy, the wolfman, the witch, did I say zombie? The zombie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, it was never released. But like you said, how many more games are out there that were not fully published?
Well,
and,
let's-
and
My
you can just
money's
move
on a
forward through all the
prominent
other
mouth.
generations of games. I mean, there's all kinds of like YouTubers are completely devoted to just showing off these remnants they find, or someone buys a PlayStation at a yard sale and they find out, oh, it's one of the developer kits. It's not, and it's got a basically like a disc or something in it where it's like, here's something. It's like, what is this? And they make it bootable. My son actually got to play about a year and a half ago. He actually got to play the Nintendo PlayStation when the guy who found it had it restored over a year or so to what it was actually playable. It would play the Japanese version, the Super Famicom, which would be the Super Nintendo in the States, and he was able to play it. And I think he played Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat 2 on it, I believe is what he played on it. But it was really cool to find something like that, and that had been sitting basically in an attic in Seattle for some
God
time.
knows how many years.
I got a question to pose on this potential Days of Thunder game. Then I wonder if it got packed up and put on a shelf due to one game. Anybody want to take a wild guess what that game was?
What was it?
Go for it.
E.T. I wonder if E.T.
Oh my gosh.
I wonder if E.T. bombed this version of a Days of Thunder.
Oh no!
Potentially.
Let's not hate on ET. It's not a bad game.
You
Says who?
Says me.
and you're the only one in this room in the world that says that.
Okay, so why ET gets all the hate is because of
It's trash.
The controls are
It is total
unplayable.
trash.
No, it's
The
not.
graphics are awful.
Well, it was on the Atari.
Don't ever fall in that hole, because your ass ain't getting out. Restart, no checkpoint.
Oh.
You're screwed.
I'm just gonna have to break out an old Atari and play it one night and show you guys how it's done.
Mm,
Oh,
eh,
man.
dead.